Watch how I made this beautiful upcycled bell that actually rings using items I already had around the house. The total cost for this project, $0. Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas bell, and I'm going to show you how to make it out of one of these little light fixtures here. And yes, it's all wrapped up. Somebody had given this to me, challenged me to see what I could do with it. Alrighty, challenge accepted. So here it is. It's quite beautiful on its own behalf. It's just one of those light globes that you affix to your bathroom lights or your fans. So the first thing that I'm going to do in order to make this bell is I'm going to take a spindle that I had gotten out of an old nylon baby bed that I cut apart. Now for this, I've already drilled a hole in the center of the spindle here just to save us some time. Alrighty, I had to go get my drill and a screw because I'm completely unprepared for this video, but here we go. Now that I have my spindle with a little hole drilled into it, I'm just taking a small piece of wood. In this case, it's one of those small wood rounds you can buy online, and I'm going to just about find the center and drill, or rather screw, right into the center of it. And it doesn't have to be exact, but I'm hoping it will be. Right, now I'm just going to get this started in here. There we go. Now I didn't drill through to the other side, thank goodness, because it'd be on my counter. But I've got that started. Now for the next step, before I finish drilling this all the way down in, alright, because for some reason I lost the footage of me putting together the clapper for the bell, we're going to run through a little instant replay. I have here a bead that I just pulled out of my stash of literally thousands of beads. So it definitely wasn't hard to find a large bead. And you do want a large bead that's on the heavier side. I'm going to string some fishing line through it. And I'm going to tie a square knot. Alright, and now that I have that pulled in and I have just this little bit of fishing line that's left showing, I'm just going to pull that tight into there so you really don't have any left. I'm just going to take some instant glue, some super glue, and I am going to just squeeze a little bit of it down into that hole. And that is going to hold our fishing line and the knot in there nice and tight. Then I am again also on the other side here just going to add another little dab of that super glue just to make sure things don't come undone. There we go. Just hold that there for a second and it is done. Now, I love this glue here. It's Tay Tools Instacure Plus. I bought this as a set. I'd seen on another YouTuber's channel. I think it was Ginger Chick Rehab, but I'm not positive. Decided to try it because she had so many good things to say about it. She wasn't wrong. So I will leave you a link below for this set. You can't go wrong with this stuff. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is tie this again with another square knot around our screw here where we don't have it screwed down in yet. I want to be sure before I tie it off completely though that I have the length where I want it. So I'm going to do that. Oops, There we go. Have that tied on there, but not permanently yet. It's going to feed this down inside here, and I can see it's sitting still on the, hitting the desktop there, so I'm going to shorten this quite a bit actually in this case. But you just want to play with it till it hangs about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way down your bell. You also want to be sure when you're measuring it from up close to the base of the screw here, because that is where your finished product will be hanging from. Okay, I would say 2/3 of the way would probably be as much as you want to go. Maybe even if it's only hanging halfway down. There we go. So I have about 3 inches of play there in my, what's it going to be called? Clanger? I don't know. But, so I'm going to just tie that off again, another square knot. All right, now, the next thing that I'm going to do is just carefully start drilling through the rest of my wood piece here. Till I get up to the top, and I'm just going to then twist on what will be the handle here. Okay, and once I get that, I'm just going to finish screwing in all the way. All right, and once I have that screwed in there, I'm just going to trim off the excess fishing line here. All right, there we go. Now we have our handle put together and our little clacker here of the bell. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the pieces white. So for that, I just have some chalk paint here, and it's in ivory. I think it'll go well with the bronzy color of our bell globe here. And it will take 2 to 3 coats to get this completely covered, and I let it dry in between coats. Now, I will say that chalk paint dries fairly quickly, so this won't take as long as some other types of paint. But you do have to be patient, because if you try to paint the second coat onto these before it's completely dry, you're going to end up with clumpy paint. And that is not a good look. And the first coat is not going to be pretty, so don't worry about that. You just want to be sure it's on there fairly smooth. Alright, now that my paint is dry, and this is 3 coats of paint I did on here, it's time to attach this to our globe piece. And the way that I do this, so I don't have to worry about the glue coming loose, this falling, shattering, I'm actually going to glue this up into the inside of our globe. And to do that, I'm going to use a combination of this Gorilla Glue adhesive. It's similar to E6000, and hot glue. First thing that I'm going to do is stick this up in here, because I want to be able to look and see about where this will be centered, so I know where I want the glue to go. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, and then I'm going to take a pen or pencil and mark around the circle so I have an idea where the glue needs to go on the outside of. Okay, so I've got that marked so it's pretty much centered. I'm not worried about whether or not you can see the pencil marks, because that is all going to be covered when we're done. And then I'm just going to take my glue, run a bead of it around the outside. Want this to be a little bit thick. There we go. And then I am also going to add a couple globs of hot glue just to hold it in place, because this will harden up a lot thicker than our Gorilla Glue will. And I'm also going to go a little bit around the outside here. Right. I'm just going to pull this up to where we can kind of see the circle there that we drew. There we go. Now if it's not exactly centered, that's okay too, because we're not going to see that again once we add the greenery to it. Okay, now you can see the hot glue has kind of got that held into place. I'm going to flip this upside down, and just one last little touch of security. I take my hot glue gun and run a bead just right down along the inside there. So as you can see, the hot glue is sitting in there. This is still free from any hot glue or anything on it, so that's good. We can just go ahead and turn that right side up, and as you can hear, the bell does ring. So, and that is what we were looking for, is a bell that actually works and is quite charming for the holidays. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is just take these different pieces of greenery that I have. I pulled a couple out of old projects that I've made. I don't know if I'm going to use this bird or not. It's kind of beat up once I'm starting to look at it, so he's probably not going to be used. But I've got plenty of other things here, and of course I can go grab anything else from my stash. It's just kind of a free-for-all. Whatever you like, wherever you like the placement of, is how it goes on. So what I'm going to start with is just some of this Christmas greenery, and you can cut it as long or as short as you want, and we're just going to start hot gluing it onto our project, and we're going to start gluing it down into the rim here where the wood can be seen. Just going to stick that down in there. is the finished Christmas bell. Doesn't really take long to do. You can then bend and work around the greenery however you like it. I absolutely love these. I love how these come out. I have put several of these in my booth at the antique mall, and these are great sellers. So with just a little bit more adjustment and just playing with it, making it your own, that's all it takes. You can use any color, any theme you like with it. These look great with the translucent marbled looking glass globes. I've done several of those. I'll add a picture of some of them I have for sale right now, and you can see what I'm talking about with all the different types of globes. But I hope you like this. It's a great way to upcycle things. It really didn't cost anything. I already had the spindles from an old baby bed. The wood round I already had on hand for making different Christmas ornaments and wine glass charms and so forth. The globe, the fan globe, I received a box of from a friend of ours, so that cost me absolutely nothing. So I spent not a cent on this project, and I can sell these for about $20 a piece up at the craft market. So if you like this, please let me know in the link below.